Hello there guys, it's your Bulkawan here, back in another video, and today I'm going to do What If Deku Was Reborn, part 38. Hope you enjoy it. So, quick recap. Last part we covered the aftermath of the Shihisakai raid and how Deku have to adopt Eri to keep her safe and help the police with their investigation, and how he warned Shisaki and his group if he ever get close to Eri, they will not even have time to regret it. And now he's going to face the biggest challenge in his life. Tell Momo that he have a daughter right now. Yeah, I think that's it for the recap. Let's begin. So we begin right when we left off last time. Deku in his way to Hyuei with Aizawa. Then it hit him that he had to tell Momo about Eri, and he started getting nervous. Aizawa asked him what's going on. He tell him, and Aizawa barely holding his laptop and tell him, "Sucks to be you, kid." Deku thank him for his help. So one day up at Hyuei, Aizawa go to do his own work, and Deku tell Momo they have to talk in private. Momo question what's going on, but he tell her that they have to talk in private. So they go outside. The mom asks him what's going on. Deku scratches back his head and starts sweating bullets and tell her that she knew that Eri want to see him and also her grandfather. She nods. Then he tell her that the police want some information that only the old man have, so they did make a deal with him. He will tell them everything that he know in one condition. I have to adopt Eri. Momo's eyes widen. She cannot believe it what he tell her. Then tell him, let me guess, you already accepted the deal. Deku nod awkwardly. Then she asks him if it's already official. Deku nod. He tell her that he will pick her up tomorrow. Then she asks him where she's going to stay in UA. If not, she can call her parents to figure out something. Deku looked at Momo in disbelief. Then he asked her if she's not upset. Momo shook her head and tell him, I'm not upset, just a tiny bit annoyed. Not because you didn't tell me. Okay, not going to lie, that just a bit annoyed me. But also, I was thinking that I was going to be the first girl that changed her last name to Midoriya, so that sucks. Deku is still shocked. Then Momo asks him what's wrong. He tells her that he figured that she'll be more upset. Momo shook her head and tell him that she already come to terms that weird things is going to happen while being in a relationship with him. Plus, she's also not a normal girl for falling in love with a person that wore a black jumpsuit and fight crime at night and breaking the law in the process. Then loving him even more when she realized that he's a half dragon. So Deku closed his eyes and start laughing a bit. Momo tell him what's funny. Deku looked her dead in the eyes and tell her, I'm a weird guy, you're a weird girl, I think we're meant to each other. Then Momo understand why Deku is laughing. Then she also laughed a bit. Then she tell him that they have to go back to the main point. Deku tell her not worry, Aizawa already take care of everything, so she'll be staying in UA for her safety. Momo tell him for her safety. Then Deku tell her, right, we did not tell you what exactly happened in that mission. Then he tell her what happened with Shisaki and how he was using Eri like an object. Momo felt bad for Eri. Then she asked him, is she okay right now? Is she safe? Deku looked at Moro, smirk and tell her, who do you think you're talking to? I already left a clone in the hospital just in case. Momo smile, hug Deku and tell him, you always think of everything, aren't you? Deku reply, not true, I try my best to be prepared for everything. Although there are things we'll never be ready for. Momo tell him like you have to be a father for Eri. Deku tell her, don't start with that. I never knew my father, so I don't have a point of reference. So I think it's back to the old ways, learning step by step. Then it hit Deku and tell her she also needs to learn how to be a mom. Momo face turned red and she doesn't know how to reply. Then Deku yell, I know you're there, so just come out already. Then the whole class come out of hiding. Then Deku tell them some things never change, right? Everyone start laughing nervously. Then Deku will tell them let's go back inside. So let's say fast forward to the next day. Everyone was ready to train, then Deku told Aizawa, how about I train them today? I want to see how strong they have become. Aizawa tell him, sure, why not? And everyone is dreading training with Deku. His training is merciless to say the least. So they go to the training field, then Deku tell them they're going to do a hostage situation. The intel tell them there is a dozen villains and 4 hostages. They are not sure what type of quirk the villains have, so they have to be prepared for everything. So they start taking off a plan, then they realize that Bakugo is not with them. Deku tell them that Bakugo is doing another type of training, so you don't have to worry about him. So they realize they are in quite a predicament without one of their heavy hitters. So they have to think smart. Deku's clone are almost everywhere, but there is only a dozen of them. So the first thing that they do is to take out at least half of them to make it a bit more easier. So with using Koji's quirk combined with Invisible Girl and Kaminari, they were able to do it. And after locating the hostages and the rest of the villains, they unleash a full-blown attack and they defeat them all. But when they think they won, someone attacked Kaminari, pinning him to the ground and tell him you're done. And that person is Bakugo. They ask him what he's doing. An evil grin crown on his face and tell them, just doing my part of being a villain. But before they can process anything, Bakugo attack again, this time heading straight to Kirishima. Luckily Kirishima was able to go unbreakable in time and block the attack. But even with that he still felt it, even though Bakugo was holding back. On the sideline, Aizawa is in shock to see Bakugo in the villain side. He asks Deku what he's doing. Deku tell him, I'm teaching them to not trust all the information that they receive, because sometimes the villain let out false information to trick the heroes. I did even fall for it in the other world, and luckily I was strong enough to get out of that situation. But that was only the case because I'm half dragon, and I am literally the second strongest in that world. But them on the other hand, you don't want me to put in a word because you already know. Aizawa cannot deny it because he actually have a point, and it's better if they learn it doing training than learning it the hard way. And needless to say, they lost because Bakugo is the strongest in the group and they were taken off guard, so they don't have a strategy to fight him. So Deku approached them and tell them, so what do you think you guys did wrong? No one did respond. Then Momo tell him that they did nothing wrong. Then Deku tell her, you are wrong here, princess. You guys did one thing crucial that cost you this fight. You built a strategy around the intel that you got, but you didn't make sure that the intel was correct. Maybe the villains make it on purpose to send false details to lure you in, like right now. But I'll give you some credits because the strategy that you come out with was pretty solid. But next time make sure that you have the right intel before you make anything, because right now it's only training, so nothing will go wrong. But out there, it can cost you your life, and I will not allow that. So before we graduate, I will make sure that your skills exceed all the pros and your physical strength will be on par with a superhuman one, at least for a degree. But I can't do anything before you guys are willing to do the training. Kirishima tell him, willing? Deku nod and tell him that the training that I did with my master, he's the one who created it, but I am the one who accepted it. He told me that he can give me a normal training or an extreme one. It's because it's my life and I choose my path. And you guys already know what type I chose. Everyone nod. So here's my offer to you. I will put you to a training regiment, but you guys choose difficulty. And remember, each person have different strengths and weaknesses, so the training will be different from one person to the other. So they ask Deku for putting them to the hardest training management they can handle. Deku nod and tell them, well, good luck guys and hope you survive. So Deku built a training regiment for everyone. It's basically like half a day of physical training and the other half focus on your quirk. And Deku's style is a bit different from the others. His style is one-on-one fights. For example, he put Todoroki against Kirishima. Why? It's because when Kirishima uses hardening, he can walk through flames, but he can still feel them. And if it got hot enough, he starts using more air than usual. Same goes for lower temperatures. So the more he can get used to the temperature, the more he can use his hardening ability. And for Todoroki's case, his flames are powerful and his ice is almost indestructible. But if the opponent can get close enough to him, he will be in trouble. So Kirishima can break his ice and walk through his flames. So this training will have both of them. And I think you guys got just an idea of Deku's training. So this continued to the end of the day, and when Deku told them that's enough, everybody fall to their knees completely exhausted. Deku told them, well done guys on your first day of training. Kirishima tell him, this all in your first day? Deku tell him, you ask for it, plus you will get used to it, so you guys take a shower and let's go to the dorms. Plus I have to pick up Eri, so see you later guys. So Deku go with Aizawa to the hospital. When they arrive, they surprised to see Rocklock and Fat Gum and that police dog. Deku asks them what I am doing here. Fat Gum tell him we are here to protect Eri just in case of the villain trying to do anything. Deku just nod. Then the police dog give him a paper and tell him this document show you that you are the legal guardian of Eri. Deku thank him for everything. The police dog tell him no thank you kid, because the old man we have more than enough information to put Shisaki away for a long time. Deku smirk and tell him that's good to hear. Then police dog tell him but we still have to do an investigation what exactly he was planning to do with the quirk erasing bullet. Deku tell him really? You still didn't figure that out? I already did. Everyone was shocked. Then Fat Gum tell him are you sure kid or is just a theory? Deku tell him no it's actually the truth and there is evidence to back it up. So let's rewind a bit. Shisaki did use Eri or her blood to make the bullet and Deku was visibly angry to use that word, use Eri. So he was using the complete version to attract attention. So when the complete version is ready to go on the market, people already know what they are waiting for or what they will buy. So when he starts making profit out of it, he will start mass producing it to attract more customers. In this case, villains. So when they start using this bullet against heroes was trying to figure out a way to get their quirk back. So when they got desperate enough, and they will, Shisaki will release the cure of that quirk erasing bullet. And that will create a loop. People will use his quirk erasing bullets on villains or heroes, and whoever gets hit will buy the cure from him also. So for a while he will control the market or the black market, and when the world starts crumbling he will have enough resources to rule over it, and his dream of making the Heisaka control the world will come true. Everyone is just dumbfounded. That actually makes sense, and it aligns perfectly with what the old man told them about Shisaki. Then Fat Gum tells Deku that he's impressed that he solved or pieced all of this all along in 2 days. Then Deku tell him actually it only took him few hours to figure out everything. And that was 2 days ago. Everyone is just mind blown. Then Aizawa put his hand on Fat Gum's shoulder and tell him, yeah, this kid, he's just something else. Just don't overtake it and accept it how it is. Everyone just gave up at this point, and then the nurse bring Eri and tell Deku she's ready to leave. Deku thank her, then he extend his hand and tell Eri, let's go home. Eri walk to Deku, grab his hand, and they start walking outside. And there's a taxi or Uber, whatever you prefer, waiting for them. In the way, Fat Gum tell him, are you sure? Are you ready for this? It's a big responsibility. Deku smile and he tell Fat Gum, I will manage. And when he said that, the clone that he left close to the hospital jump in front of him and fuse with him. Fat Gum tell him, what was that? Deku tell him, I left the clone yesterday just in case if the live of villains try to do something. Fat Gum look at Deku in disbelief and tell him, yeah, I think you will be okay. Deku smile and tell him, have a great day. And off they went to UA. When they arrived, everybody gave Eri a warm welcome. Eri was shy, but everybody understand she still need time to heal after what happened. Then Eri pulled Deku's shirt and give him back the necklace. Deku thanked her, so with that let's say fast forward few hours. Deku is outside all along, then Mo come beside him and tell him something on your mind. Deku tell her I think it's time. For what? Deku tell her to tell them the truth. I will do on my part, but if you don't want to tell them, it's up to you. Mo ask him is he sure about this. Deku tell her that they will know it sooner or later. It's better if we tell them, then they figure that out by themselves. So usually I will leave you here guys with a cliffhanger, but because I didn't upload for like 4 days, but this time let's continue for a little longer. So both Momo and Deku make separate phone calls. So with that let's say fast forward to the next day. Deku opened the gate straight to his home and knocked on the door. His mom opened it and she welcomed him. Then she asked him what does he need, why did he call her so late last night. Deku tell her she need to sit down for this. She did. Then he started explaining about the overall mission, how he stopped Shisaki and no someone is hurt. Then he mentioned the deal that he made with the old man. Her eyes widened, then she tell him, "Wait a minute, Izuku, you're telling me that I'm basically a grandmother right now?" Deku nodded and tell her, "Yeah, basically." Then she tell him that I thought you're wearing a black jumpsuit and you have a white hair was weird enough. Deku was taken aback. Mom, what do you mean?" He asked her. She looked him dead in the eyes and tell him, "Izuku, I'm your mom. I'm not stupid. I knew you are a white ninja. Although you did a good job hiding it from me in the beginning." Deku is still shocked, then he tell her, "How did you figure that out?" She tell him at first it was just a hunch. But when I saw you in your white ninja form, banging your head on the wall, calling yourself stupid, that's that giveaway. Deku did not utter a word, but Jarvis on the other hand is losing it. He's laughing so hard and he tell Deku that he cannot breathe. He doesn't even know how breathing feel. Deku quite loudly tell him to just shut up. His mom told him, "What do you mean shut up?" He tell her it was not for you, it's for my quirk. Your quirk? Then they explain who Jarvis is and they start talking telepathy with his mom. Then she tell him even though she can't see him, she knows that he's a good friend for Izuku. So please keep him away from anything dangerous. He tell her, "I will try, ma'am. But your son is like a magnet for danger, so at least he have his girlfriend to keep him in check." Izuku's mom tell them, "His girlfriend? Since when?" Then they explain how he met Momo and they are officially dating since the sport festival and how her parents figure out that Deku is white ninja. Then Deku asks her if she want to meet Eri and Momo. His mom tell him of course she want to meet them. So Deku tell her, "Give me a second." He open up a portal and when he come back he bring with him Eri and Momo. So Deku introduced Momo and Eri to his mom and after a hug that almost suffocate them, she welcomed them to the family. And Eri don't understand what is this warmth, but she like it. Then Deku asks Momo if she called them. She not. Then Deku tell her that he have to come clean. He will tell her everything, and I mean everything, how I got my power and who I am right now. But her parents, pointing at Momo, also deserve to know the truth. So we are going there right now, and you are coming with me, mom. I will tell you guys everything. So his mom got worried because whatever he's hiding is serious, just judging from his tone. So he opened up a portal to Momo's house. Her parents greet them, then Deku introduced his mom and Eri, and they did the same thing that Izuku mom did, basically welcoming her to the family. Then Deku tell them that they have to talk in private because he will tell them everything because they deserve it. So they go to the guest room. Deku makes sure that no one is eavesdropping and tell them what I am about to show you is who I am and how I become white ninja. And when you know everything, you guys can decide what we should do moving forward. But I have to warn you that you don't have to tell this to anyone. Then Deku uses his new skill Mind Connect and show them everything. And right before he start and tell them, "This is my story for the last 7 years. And for you guys it's only been almost a year and a half." Then he starts showing them how he started with his abilities, trained with his master, with Drake, how he become white ninja, everything. He only removed the part about one for all. And needless to say, they were shocked. Their brains cannot understand or process what just happened. Then his mom speak up and tell him, "So you are half dragon, Izuku?" Deku nod and he embraced himself for the worst. His mom get up and gave him a hug and tell him, "It must been hard, huh? Having that much responsibility without knowing who exactly you are." And she's sorry that she was not with him when she needed him. Deku hugged his mom back and he started crying a bit and tell her she don't have to be sorry about anything. Even though it was hard, but along the way he met some awesome people that helped him with that burden and encouraged him to accept himself and be better. Then he looked at Momo's parents and tell them, "So what now?" Her father get up and tell him ever since he come into Momo's life, she never been more happier. And by watching how far you will go just to protect her, I'm just lost for words. What I'm trying to say, kid, our opinion of you did not change. In fact, right now we are more than happy to see that the man that my daughter fall in love with can handle responsibility. Deku get up and bow and tell him, "Thank you, sir. And I promise you I will keep her safe." Her dad smile and tell him, "That's all of what I need to hear. Just promise me one thing, sometimes take us to that other world. It sounds like a great place." Deku replies, "Sure thing, why not? I already took a whole class with me, so few people will not be a problem." Then Deku tell them that they have to go back to school because he didn't ask permission to leave. They wish them good luck. Deku take his mom back to her house, but before he leaves she make him promise that he will be safe while doing his other work. Deku smile and assure her that he will be as safe as possible. Then they return to UA, so I think I'm going to stop it right here. So that we have only one arc left and it's the school festival. So what do you think will happen? Will Deku be able to make Eri smile? And what will happen after that? So if you enjoyed, why don't you drop a like and subscribe if you are new, and like always guys, peace.